Hello, everyone. We are here to play not Blades in the Dark, Mutants in the Night, which is a Blades in the Dark system. We are playing the Unity campaign for the Gauntlet Hangouts community. This will be our third session. On this session, we are going to explore a bit more about the life in Unity Heights and to see the fallout after the events of the previous sessions. We have the Gauntlet inclusivity in place, and we gonna be using the X-Guard and script change. We also have established lines and veils. Feel free to review them before the game in case you need to change or add anything in particular. So, going to start by introducing ourselves and our characters. I'm to a very typical scenario in the city of New Pleasant, in which go around. It's very clear that nobody wants to attract their attention. But just because there are no lights on the street does not mean that things are not lively within the individual buildings. And we get to an empty apartment, not an apartment of any of our characters, but an empty apartment in block 18, which they use as base of operation. So how do we see all of our characters there? I'm going to start introductions by the order I have here. So Michael, introduce yourself and your character.
Absolutely. Yeah, my name is Michael. I use he, him pronouns. And today I am playing Alicia Maddox, who goes by the codename Gray. And she is a chopper, which means that she can interfere with people's memories, sometimes at the cost of her own. So you're asking what she's doing in this headquarters?
Yeah, I mean, it's a night after work. So you are meeting together as a team, without the pressures of a job, just hanging together to share news and to enjoy this night.
Yeah, I think it's a very relaxed atmosphere. I'm probably drinking like some matcha or whatever. And like we all have like this like AR interface. So I think we're looking at this map. But it's like kind of almost like a hologram, like a 3D thing that we can see with our glasses, that so like we probably see this flat map laid out on the table, but then we kind of shift over to Gray's perception and you see like the different like bar charts and other stuff that just kind of comes alive. Yeah, that's what I'm up to.
So what remains on the apartment that was left by the previous tenant?
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I think that there are like Catholic religious icons in various places. Like we'll see like a portrait of like the Holy Mother and like some like candles that are left on some shelves. Yeah.
Then we get to Tom's character. So Tom, introduce us to yourself and to Jack.
Hi, my name's Tom. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing J1 Kim. No, sorry, Kim J1. But he answers to the name J, or to a fragment of his old stage name Jack. So I think in this sort of instance, I think Jack would just be like, I think Jack sort of would be just sort of standing upright and sort of looking very intently at whatever detail we've brought up on the hologram, and just sort of with his arms crossed, just sort of going like this and being really pensive and thinking about what the discussion that's going on. He wouldn't be doing anything else other than focusing on the conversation.
So, despite the focus on the work, there is a various rare and expensive piece of entertainment in the room. What is it?
A rare and expensive piece of entertainment. Do we mean like a movie or something like that? No, we mean like, do we mean like a chessboard or something like that?
Can be either way.
Okay. You know what? I think it is. I think it is like it is an old, outdated, an old chess set made out of a rare material that we don't see anymore. It's actual timber, like lacquered, actual proper rosewood and like birch pieces, so that they keep as much of the natural color as possible. But it looks really old and sort of has abstract forms. But yeah, we don't see like this is like they're like a type of grain or timber that we don't see anymore because it's been the terrain has been lost. And this is like a 50-year-old chess set, and yeah, it's just sitting in the corner gathering dust.
Okay, so last but not least, Walter, introduce us to Thorn.
Hi, I am Walter, he, him, and I am playing Jessica Olmos, whose codename is Thorn. And Jessica is covered in tattoos. She's, I think she's not looking at the map. She's sitting down on the couch nearby. Her wiry frame just kind of like lounging there, but she's working on a project. I think she's probably like, I think she's like building a special set of sunglasses, like something really stylish and cool for her friend Faye. And Faye has 4 eyes, like 2 above the other, not metaphorically, but literally. And so so Thorn is like making a gift for her. She's making her these like special sunglasses that'll like fit over all 4 of her eyes to give to Faye.
So, among the projected map in enhanced reality, there is a building poking from the rich towers of Mount Pleasant and shining among the neons. It's a bottle of something that after the previous job with Cloak, Vaughn managed to get something from his stash and send as a gift as thank you for letting him access the network. So what is this very fancy drink that is sitting on the table?
Oh, interesting. Vaughn is a really big fan of mezcal. So he sent us a really nice bottle of mezcal.
All right, so here you are enjoying the night together. So, what does the topic changes to? For a refresher, both for you and for the audience that might be stumbled into this and did not watch the previous one. After the job against Cloak, Cloak was arrested, but then it seems that some anti-mutant group got close to him and executed him in a gruesome way. And also there seems to be Mount Pleasant University.
You're breaking up a bit, Ludo.
About the questions of how society failed to accommodate the mutants and how that should be addressed for the future of humanity. And then we also had rumors about something going with the unions on Samsung Bay, or at least whatever remains from the unions after being violently purged. Those are kind of the things that after you return calm to Unity, that been floating around in your mind.
You did break up there for a second, but I think the only detail that we lost was the journalist covering the textbook from the professor about how mutants and humans should be getting along, right?
Yeah.
And then wasn't the sort of code name that journalist dropped, wasn't it like unpleasantness?
Yeah, and that was actually the tie that you got to the unions on Samsung Bay.
Right. Okay.
So it seems like Cloak was a really powerful individual before. He had access to a lot of resources, and now he's been killed off. Do we have a sense of who has like inherited his little empire, or is it just completely crumbled?
Okay, I'll make a fortune roll. It seems that there is a very tense climate, both in the Unity and around, because it's obvious that there is this massive power vacuum, and there are a lot of people that want to step in. And because of what happened to him, even when he was within custody, the purifiers got to him. A lot of human criminals are a bit hesitant of stepping in. So there is talk that it's going to be a mutant criminal or mutant criminal, and worse yet, there is fear that some empowered mutants that have been keeping their powers in secrets are going to be making a move. So we might have superpowered warfare in the streets.
Sounds like there's a lot to talk about in this HQ. Lots of bar charts going crazy.
Yeah. Well, Gray, Jack, I'm just glad that we got that. We saved the clinic, right? I mean, so many people get helped there all the time. It's such a great resource. That sergeant. Hopefully they're not going to be back here to apartment block 18. Are we in apartment block 18 right now?
Yes, It's one of the abandoned blocks that you fortified as a base.
Yeah, I didn't remember if we all lived in apartment block 18. I know like
You don't. I think it's you and it's you and Jack. I think.
Yeah, it's just the two of us. So Gray is elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that this clinic does a lot of good for people. I hope that that stunt we pulled is enough to keep the cops off of our tail for a while, but maybe we should be thinking about what it looks like next time they come.
Well, I mean, there's what it looks like next time they come, but there's also, there's going to be more trouble. We're going to need this clinic to be functioning as properly as it can, and it's just not supplied as well as it could be. There's they're just not supplying. It's so hard to get supplies here in the mutant zone that it's just not fair. Right? I mean, the hospitals are so well stocked. They have like full hospitals. They have all the drugs they need. They have all the equipment they need. They have, I mean, we have to get by on just the basics here. This clinic could be so much better if we just had all the supplies that we need.
It's not just the clinic that's not getting what it needs. The Skybridge network is halted, is virtually halted as well in terms of new progress. If the construction teams don't get another shipment of materials soon, then none of the networks connecting to apartment block 18 will ever be completed.
Yeah. Maybe we can make some kind of, I don't know. I mean, the Sky Bridge, that seems like that needs a lot of resources. Like, how many materials does the Sky Bridge need? That's gotta be really expensive.
It is, but it would be expensive if the construction teams were being paid, on the books, so to speak. But I mean, they can only do so much by like recycling scrap material from abandoned buildings here in the mutant zone. But a contact of mine has given me a lead on a shipment of raw steel. Well, not raw steel, but like construction steel that is sitting in the docks. Did I get that right, Ludo? Is that right? Is that what you said last time? Yeah. Thought so.
Yeah, that you pondered in that the easiest way would let it be transported and then hijack the transport.
That's it. Yeah, just like we did. We could do it the same way for that stuff, the same way as we did for the last big batch of medical supplies that we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if we can improve that infrastructure, it'll be easier for us to smuggle supplies in.
Mm-hmm. We can get, if we do that, then not to mention there'll be a lot more people able to make it here to the clinic, and we'll probably have less interference on the ground from people when we're trying to get stuff here, and it'll be more secure. It all depends on. It just feels like we have a lot of competing priorities right now, and if we don't, whatever we pursue, they're something else has got to give. I feel like, if anything, we're a little bit I say understaffed, but there's only the three of us here.
And there's an army of them against us.
Are we the only, Ludo? Are we the only like team of owls?
No.
No.
No, there is actually another groups, but they have been more focused on stuff outside. And actually, that great job that you managed, you did it in collaboration with 2 different cells.
Oh god damn! Right, it's gonna be a lot harder than maybe Jay is talking about here. Would it be impressive if we did that on our own, though? God damn.
So, like, from a meta perspective, we could do something like start a long-term project to enlist the help of some owls. Is that right?
Or you can do jobs on the bar, and that will get you the favor of other owls. If you upgrade the bar, as to say, from a better perspective.
So we could go to the other owls and say, we need some help. Here's what we'd like to do. Let's work together. And then trade favors, basically. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Or you can do a big job, and then you are supposed to have their support on stuff that you do. Which is basically, it's front-loading the favors. But you can always trade favor to favor, and you can always trade it with the individual all cells.
So yeah, I think what I would say is like, you're right, Jay. We can't do this alone. I know that there are other mutants here who are looking out for the most vulnerable amongst us. It's not only us. I don't know if any of them are as good as we are, but it couldn't hurt to have a little help. I think we should reach out.
It never hurts to reach out.
What do you think, Thorn? Got a
Yeah.
nice bottle of mezcal there.
That's true. Well, it's hard to tell how good of a resource Vaughn is going to be. I think Vaughn is usually in things for himself, but yeah, there certainly seems to be some gratitude on Vaughn's part. So he might be someone we can reach out to for information and some unsavory leads. But this shipment, I mean, what would it take to get this shipment here? And do we have a place to put it? I mean, there's construction yards, right? So if we can just get those supplies to the construction yard, we could probably make them look like they were just the regular supplies that had always been there, right? We just need to transport them, it sounds like.
So maybe instead of hijacking a truck on its way from the docks, maybe we want to get a truck and then we'll stand up like crazy. Maybe we could contract a team of human contractors to try and steal it for us. It sounds funny just saying it.
Well, yeah, at least maybe some mutants who don't show it as much. Slap a pair of sunglasses on me, and as long as I'm not using my powers, I can pass all right as long as nobody looks too hard at my ID chip.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few mutants who can pass well enough, and who says we have to move it in normal ways. Maybe we can find a way to move this this shipment, you know, at the odd time of day when nobody's paying as much attention, or maybe create a distraction so that people don't notice it missing for a while. I think there's probably ways we could check it out. Maybe we can go like check out this dockyard and make a plan and just go get it.
Yeah. Just go get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like, yeah. Information gathering sounds like a good idea. There's a lot of unknowns. We need to knock back some of those unknowns.
I would say this is kind of a good point to insert your backgrounds, on the preparation to this heist and how you learn more stuff. So maybe you can delve into that.
Our backgrounds. Right. Well, the idea that I had for, Jay's heritage. Is that what we're discussing? The heritages, rather? Yeah. So Jay's two heritages are poor and privileged. And I picked those because they seem to be contradictory, but at the same time, I don't think they necessarily have to be. So I think that Jay's family used to be like well-respected, but very much on the lower economic scale of things. I think his family, his father or mother used to run a well-respected dojo of some sort. So they were like, well-respected community members, but it was still in one of the poorer parts of town. So he never grew up with like all of the trappings of like what's the word here, of like a real proper like expensive lifestyle. So I'm not sure if there's much to lean on for this in this case for any of the stuff that we've got going on here.
How about the others?
Yeah, Jessica was she was raised by her mother, and her mother worked whatever jobs she could to support them growing up, support Jessica growing up, and so yeah, she's been very never had a lot of resources her whole life, but she does have some good friends, and she's a go-getter, and not beyond going places that she shouldn't be when she feels that things are unfair and that she deserves more than she's been given access to. Yeah, Thorn's all about, let's just figure out a way to go get this.
Look at the situation, make a plan, figure it out as you go, kind of thing.
Capitalize on opportunities.
Gray, her heritage is urban and upper crust. So what I had kind of envisioned for her was that before the gene explosion, she had a pretty successful therapeutic practice in a large city. So psychiatry or psychology, something like that. Very successful, well regarded, well educated, but that all kind of washed away when she became a mutant, which she found kind of ironic because she saw how this could be an opportunity for her to really leverage her talents in her field. But when that was sort of stripped away from her, I think she still is struggling with her identity and purpose in life, which is why she kind of pushes herself to the edge to help these mutants and their cause, even though she sometimes feels a little bit out of her depth, compared with people with diamond bodies and flamethrowers and things like that. Yeah, so as far as like how she would like contribute to this heist using her background, I think about all she has is like a familiarity with like downtown gridlock and traffic, and perhaps just a generalized like knowledge about the way people think, I guess, which I lack, but we can always roll for. So
Yeah. I did also think though that after the the mutant crisis occurring, essentially, Jay fell into the underground fighting circuit, which is where he met his friend Dominic. So, and that's also where he met Victoria. So that's an underworld connection there that I'm sure Jay has leveraged and has bitten them on the ass several times. It's something that he probably can't really super escape from, no matter how much he wants to. And I think you both would know that this helping the clinic is sort of part of it is him trying to atone for like his past life when he wasn't as good a person, wasn't doing as so well as he is now. So yeah, maybe let's go to the. Oh.
So, are you going to start preparing for the heist, or you want to meet some owls at the bar?
Yeah. Well, I think my vote is to go to the bar. That's what I would be up for. But,
yeah, I'm down with the mutant bar. Let's hang out with the mutants at the bar.
hell yeah.
Also, hey Jay, don't you have a buddy named Marcus who's into construction? Maybe they have some ideas about this equipment.
We'd probably find Marcus there at the bar as well, to be honest.
Nice.
Because he's a buddy. He's a buddy. Wouldn't necessarily want to. Yeah.
Jessica goes to the table and pours 3 shots of mezcal and says, bars are too expensive. It's always a good idea to get a head start. And she tosses it back.
No worries. Yeah, I think with that, Jay will head out the door. We'll go to the bar.
Yeah. So it's well known that on Unity that there's a lot of human tourism, especially on nightclubs like Magenta. Really, any popular place, it's always swarming with humans, and it's only a question of time for them to start catering for humans instead of for mutants. So, how does the mutant bar discreetly keeps away humans? Great.
I think one way it doesn't advertise itself as a bar. Not in the sense it's like a speakeasy, but it's like it probably says it's like a diner or something like that. Yeah, it probably or like a grill. Yeah, bar and grill's a pretty good pretty good one there. Yeah, I think it would just it would be called like the something grill, right? I'm terrible at naming things though. Maybe somebody else can give me a hint there. It's an Applebee's. I don't know.
So everyone is eventually, they have the front which serves food at all times of the day, and eventually everyone makes to the back door, which through a stairway gives to the bar proper. And you can see that there are 3 cells of owls that are there. You can recognize one as the cell which Yvonne belonged to, which are the prowlers. Then you also have the raptors, which they use it to be the biggest cell when you guys were starting, but you don't know what happened. But there seemed to be a disagreement, and they only have 2 empowered members now, which are 2 twins that seem to have some kind of matter manipulation powers. They don't talk about their former colleagues and what happened. And then you have the blood pilgrimage, which is they are a bit edgy. They used it to be until very recently, lethal. That they kind of became too old to be part of the gang, and they kind of go around doing odd jobs, and yeah. And beyond those, you also get a few mutants that are there, including, of course, Mark. And so, Jack, what did happen last time that you were here that got a lot of drinks added to your tab?
Oh. So, added to my tab. So, I owe the bar. I think the simplest answer is that we were celebrating something. I think it was not long after. In fact, it was the day after that that successful supply run with the truck that we've talked about before. And I think Jay actually doesn't really have a lot of tolerance for alcohol. So I think Jay got really drunk and at some point offered to everyone, "Drinks are on me." And yeah, that sort of continues to bite him in the ass.
So it seems that the barkeeper has not forgotten that, and he immediately starts getting closer to the counter and crossing her arms, and she's like pointing to a photo of Jack. "Do not serve these people drinks."
Okay. That's just funny. That's
Here.
fine. Jack, oh, sorry, Ludo. You went out there for a second.
Okay. So, Torn, what do you see on the bar that tells you that someone bought something from Brad recently.
From Brad. So Brad is my arms dealer friend, and Brad has this. Brad has access to these like new like stun guns that you can get. They look like these like you know, like kind of like Star Wars phasers almost, right? They're not quite that cool, but they can like basically they're like stun guns, right? They like shoot out a little cable and can electrocute and incapacitate someone, right? And they're really effective.
So who's carrying those stun guns?
The twins from the Raptors are like they're like they've got a couple on the table and they're like talking about them. They're just like openly you know, like kind of talking about them to each other, showing them off to the person next to them. Yeah, they seem really casual about it.
So it seems that there is a climate of tension that there's going to be a fight between imps. So there's a fight between imps. There's no way that there is actions to one or more owls. You feel
sorry,
like
I missed the last part of what you said.
so there are no imps in Unity that don't have connection to one or more owls. As that is the case, it seems that everyone is looking at you as possible competition, and they are kind of looking who you gonna speak to with first.
I think I'll go up to the Raptors and I'll say, hey, those are really nice. Did you pick those up at Walgreens?
They don't seem to have the humor for jokes, and they're like, you got them in battle. You got them fighting the police.
The police had those. You just took them from the police. Those are police issue? Damn, that's ballsy.
No, these have been cleared by a friend, but we had to do something.
That sounds like a useful friend you got there.
What do you want, Thorn?
Well, I came across this really sweet pulse rifle recently, but you know, I wouldn't mind getting it cleaned. Maybe you could introduce me to your friend.
You're making a move, Thorn.
Huh. I just like to be prepared.
Well, one of the twins leans. The thing is, we are usually the ones that over prepare here. We have a lot of blind spots to cover. And you're also a small group. Maybe you should do smart thing and get someone to cover those blind spots.
Look, what's this person's name? Do I know their name already?
You know that one of them is named Wallace and the other is named Arthur, but you don't know which one is which.
Okay, because they're twins. All right. I say, look, Wallace or Arthur. You know, how they're keeping us down is by having all the mutants worry about each other and all this infighting. But we've got bigger problems, right? Look, I don't want to move in on your turf. I'm more concerned with trying to make some moves that'll just make this place better for everybody, right?
Yeah, I agree, says the other, Arthur or Wallace. I agree. That's why I don't think it justifies the existence of two owls like us. So maybe why don't the three of you join the Raptors?
Well, what would that entail? Joining the Raptors. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means that, we take order over the town, get a few more people to join us, and we make sure that no other scum like Cloak can move in, that will kick any human that comes into Unity by force if need be.
Yeah, that's not quite my style, right? Like, I don't feel like being an enforcer of humans. I know some humans that I consider friends, but we don't have to agree on everything. There's other things that we can all agree on, right? I mean, we want the sky bridges built, we want the clinic well stocked, we want this bar to remain open for us so that we can have a place to relax. There's a lot of things we can have in common, right?
So as you say that about the sky bridges, you can hear one of the brats from the Bloods screaming, "Sky bridges? We don't need no sticking sky bridges." And you see a lot of the kids bickering, "Yeah, the sky bridges are a waste of time and effort. We should be pushing out of Unity instead of making our cage a bit nicer." Yeah. And you can see, they are still kids and they barely have any empowered among them, but they are, very loud and obnoxious. They really don't buy on the project of the sky bridges.
All right. Well, what and do Arthur and Wallace, do they have any reaction to this? Do they seem to like go along with that?
They look at the kids with contempt.
Not everybody likes these sky bridges, but if it makes our life easier for us, it's going to make this place easier to defend, right, Wallace and Arthur?
They kind of agree. Well, yes, I agree with that. So that we don't work on construction. I mean, Arthur here is a lawyer, and I work on security. We don't know anything about the construction.
Yeah, sure. But there's a lot of mutants who have been in the construction trade who want to work, right? But they're not getting paid. They're not. They don't even have the supplies they need. part of reinforcing what our mutant community here is making sure that everybody has a job and everybody can do what they're good at, right? I see a lot of people in the construction trade that aren't working.
Speaking of construction trade, the twins give a glance to the table where we can see Marcus. So, Jack, what is Marcus doing as the topic seems to be splitting the bar, the Hooters?
Oh no! Don't tell me that's canon. Okay, it's canon.
I
Okay.
was gonna say maybe we could call it the Roost.
The
Barn.
That's better. Yeah, that's it.
Close shave there. Okay.
Okay, so is Marcus at the table by himself, or?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I think, well, I guess Marcus is probably just like nursing a drink. So he's probably just like sitting there with like a beer right in front of him, and he's just sort of, I guess, staring into it. It's probably like half drunk, and it's gone totally warm by now. So I think Jack would have gone and sat down next to his pal.
So, how is it going, Jack? Did you got any job lately? Everyone seems to have an opinion about my work. Nobody is helping me either getting it done or getting me something else.
Yeah, I know how that feels. And I'll lean in a bit and try and speak a bit quietly as possible. We are working on getting we have a lead on a supply run that we're trying to get done, but the logistics are proving perhaps a little bit difficult. We're looking at a sort of, how can I put this? A safety net where we can sort of see if there's any assistance we can get for making sure this run goes as smoothly as possible. It's going to involve an excursion out to the shipyards, well, rather to the out to the docks.
Well, you don't need me to tell you that having the twins is very helpful. I mean, matter manipulation, transporting something of that side, that has to be useful.
Absolutely. So I think we've got a most convincing person on that job. Me myself, well, you know me, not much good for anything more than just knocking heads and telling people to get out of the way. Lido is frozen.
Sorry, I cut off here for a moment. I did not hear what you said.
No, that's okay. I was just saying that you had cut off. So whatever you said last, I did not hear a word of it.
The Raptor Twins powers would be very useful.
Oh yeah, and that's all you. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think we've got Thorn covering that. I'm just sticking to my sticking to what I know. But in here, I'm honestly not that useful, to be honest. So I know where you're coming from when it's hard to do.
So we have a third group. We have Vaughn's group.
Uh-huh.
And they seem to be alert at something with each other, and they seem to be eyeballing Gray as they are shutting it up.
I'll eyeball right back.
They pretend that they are not looking at you, but clearly you are being the subject of their conversation. And as that is happening, the twins make a proposal to Thorn. Well, I can understand why you need us, and if you talk with Marcus, then you can tell exactly what we need. But you have to understand, we have been trying to rebuild our little group after that. And we always cared more about political activism beyond our borders rather than, this stuff. I know your people has contacts out among insiders and humans. We want to take part in that.
Now, are they? Oh, okay. Are they? Do I think they're referring to Brad, or maybe to Vaughn?
Oh, actually, they know that you had lives beyond this type of contacts, and they want they want to be doing things beyond of Unity. They want to do things city-wise on the human world.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you want to. Sounds like you want to hamstring parts of the human world so that you can make inroads. There's a shipment of steel and construction supplies over on the human side, and I'm sure someone over there would miss it. I'm sure it's gonna slow some important project over on the human side of Unity Heights an awful lot if that shipment goes missing. Seems like that would be of interest to you.
I will not say it's not something we will be disinterested, but if you lose this shipment, how can we be sure that that will not be used by purifiers to feed up mutant hatred, for them to get more recruits, or to justify attacks on mutants? Because that's how you want them to see us, as thieves.
Oh, okay. I see. So you want the mutants to always play nice and play by the humans' rules and do everything it takes so that the humans like us. That's your strategy?
No. We are okay with the theft. I mean, remember the last job? That is fine. I mean, we had Strix with us yet, and she was much better at that. But we understand the need of that. The thing is, I don't think we should stop at that. And we really should not spit at an opportunity, to do a bit more meaningful work, like pinning the crime on someone else. They seem to be quite good at this. And Arthur winks at Vaughn.
Is Vaughn listening into the conversation? Is Vaughn like right nearby?
They are nearby. The prowlers are nearby, but they are mostly focusing, talking among them, and discussing Gray.
The Prowlers. What, can I overhear the Prowlers talking, like mentioning Gray's name? Is it clear that they're talking about Gray?
Oh yeah, it's clear that they are talking about Gray.
All right. All right. Maybe I just sip my drink for a while and try and listen into what they're talking about Gray. Oh, wait, I don't have a drink. I'm persona non
Actually,
non-tab.
it's
Maybe not non-grata. I guess I'm just drinking some water, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so it's no problem to hearing, and they seem to be very suspicious that Gray's not making a move after removing Cloak, and they're like, "What is the game? What are they trying to plan?" And they are kind of trying to figure out which is the move that Gray is going to do, and if they want to be on their side or not.
So I don't know how much of this I'm not necessarily even listening to their words. I'm just like kind of listening to their tone of voice, right? And like looking at their eyes and their body language, right? And at a certain point, I think I would just get up from the bar and just like saunter right over to them. And they're like sitting at a table, right? So I think I'd like just pull up a chair and like sit, power stand style, with my legs like over the back of the chair and just kind of post up and look at them very intently, silently.
So the Prowl seem to look back between Vaughn and you. And Vaughn is the one that breaks the silence. So, Gray, being busy?
I'm just like stony silence, just like looking at him, like contemplating, just letting him sweat a little bit.
Okay, why don't you give me a command roll?
Oh yeah, okay.
Controller position.
Sick. All right. Command. I have 2 dots in that. So does that mean I roll 2 dice?
Yeah, unless you get help or stress.
No, this is just for fun. I'm not too concerned about the outcomes here. But oh yeah, boxcars. All right. So 6.
So you managed to put them on an unnerved position. And Vaughn actually blabbermouths and trying to get you to say what you've been doing. So I've been looking into people that what might have happened to.
Can you repeat that for me real quick? Yeah. Yep. Faded out for a second.
So I've been looking into people that have been vanishing. And it seems that Cloak was selling some people to AOD farms, but some of the shipments were unlabeled, and they mention a ship, an old oil tanker, and it seems that he has been delivering people there. So I think that might have happened to some of the people some of the empowered that have been missing. I think this oil tanker might be where the government is doing its experiments on people.
What's that got to do with me?
Well, that's what I wanted to know. What have you been doing? As I talked with your friend, I want to look into that. So I gathered these new prowlers. We are planning to do a ride on the tanker. We just need to get a ship from the docks.
So you hope that my crew will do you a favor.
This seems to take him aback a bit because he was kind of not expecting that you will accept in the first place. So he's not going to suggest. And he's like, yeah, why not? If you can get us a boat, we'll not forget.
See, the thing I'm worried about with you, Vaughn, is that you seem to have a pair of loose lips. Not only are you talking about our job with your cronies here, look how quickly you gave up your current plans to me. How do I know that you're not going to be going spreading my name around Unity Heights and beyond? My crew, we use discretion. And I think it's like I've just been slowly lowering my tone of voice, and I can see them all kind of leaning in, and their raucous behavior is all I can tell I'm in control here. And that would be great for if somebody wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think I do that. I think I do. Because I think it's just very obvious. Everyone's looking at this scene playing out, and I'm just I think we've seen Gray do this before, and it's yeah, discretion, and completely out of the blue.
I'm imagining that the Raptor twins are looking up from their phasers at this point. They're just kind of waving their faces around, huh?
Oh shit! This is going to hit the fan. And the kids of the Bloods, they keep being obnoxious, and they keep kind of laughing at you. These old people are all the same. They still think that getting the scraps is going to change anything. And Vaughn seems to take offense at that. What do you mean we are not discreet? I'm a thief, am I not? I can break anywhere and you will never know that I was there.
Well, at least that's something we have in common. I look over to the twins, right? And that's who we came here to see. Those are the people with the reputation for, maybe not excellence necessarily, but results, right? And I look over to this group of kids too, and it's I can't help but feel even in this moment, as I guess rude as they're being, they kind of have a point, but everything that they're saying is just making me want to do something even more to succeed here, to show we can make a change, right? So I kind of lock eyes with Thorn, and also look over to Jay too, maybe this is what we have to work with, Plus, on a meta note, I love Vaughn's voice, so I'm happy to have him in any scene, right?
So yeah, maybe I don't know if we don't have things to continue with our three separate conversations. Maybe we should get together and try and the three of us figure out what direction we want to go now. I mean, I feel like we've got a few leads, we've got an idea who our contacts are, but we need to figure out where we want to put our time and energy.
Yeah.
Maybe we find an empty booth over in the corner, and we can just kind of chat there with each other.
I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
so
just got like water and dry peanuts. You know?
actually,
right.
as you are sitting, the barkeeper, she comes with a tray of wings and some soda, and she puts it on the house, and underneath the plate there is a greasy.
I don't know.
Oh, looks like we lost Ludo for a moment.
I seem to have broken.
Oh,
What
there you
was the
are.
last thing you heard?
Greasy.
Okay,
Something
so you
greasy.
have a greasy piece of paper which has a number written, and
What was the number?
okay, so there was a piece of paper with a number for to contact and the suggestion of a job. Company.
No.
Oh God. Okay, there is a piece of paper with a job offer that is actually it's from a human corporation that is asking for mutant security because they been targeted by rogue criminal mutant elements, and they say that their assets have been already too destroyed, and they are offering quite a big sum of money for someone to look into that.
So basically, to look into some other mutants.
Yeah, apparently
Mutant
they.
on mutant. All right. Huh. But then we're working for the human.
That's the moral quandary that the GM must put us in.
Yes. The Shadowrunner's dilemma.
Yes. Yeah, I think, you know, that we have a lot of moving parts, you know, as we coalesce here in this booth. So I think it's a great time to have a philosophical debate. Put that stuff on the shelf.
Do we know what the corporation is? Do we know what they do? Is there a conflict of interest within what we've been talking about, or?
Well, you can call.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Folks, sometimes the problems that mutant society faces just seem too big. I can't even wrap my head around it, certainly not my arms around it. But when we do these small things to help each other, it just feels right. I don't know what we can do to change society. Maybe I have to go read that textbook to find out. But if we can do something here for unity today, I'm on board.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, we don't know who these rogue criminal mutants might be for this corporation. I mean, for all we know, they're doing the right thing. We could look into that more, but I just don't feel motivated to. I feel like there's enough good work we could do here just to make things better around here. Yeah, I totally agree. And I don't know about, I mean, what Vaughn says, right, about this, about kind of raiding this tanker. I mean, if they really are taking powered mutants there, then saving them sounds like a worthwhile thing to do. But I don't totally trust Vaughn to do it, frankly. I mean, what, Vaughn wanted us to get him a boat so that he can go do it? I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like he might be playing us. This just something sounds fishy about that.
Yeah. That was my first thought as well. Like, is it really what he's saying it is, or is it just sort of another ruse for us to do more work for him, and like let him, while we're distracted doing something else, he makes a play to do something larger in the city, like in Unity itself. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say, isn't it?
Let's talk about this steel.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It's in a place with a lot of eyes, a lot of bodies. We've shown ourselves to be pretty impressive squad here, but I don't know how much steel I can carry. I don't know if we'll be able to do it without help.
Depending on what sort of success, like if the twins are able to help us, then we probably don't need to do. Maybe we don't need to do like as big of an intercept as what we initially thought. Maybe we just need. It really does depend. Like, all we need is like a lucky break somewhere along the way, somewhere where these resources get diverted to a spot and then they're just left there, and something can come pick them up and bring them to Unity or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. I have this this steel shipment. It's on. Is it like on a boat or a freighter, or is it like on a boxcar, or like what where is it?
It should be, well, Ludo, I failed to recall the details of what it was. I know that it is coming into the docks, but
You know it's coming by boat, and you know it's going to be transported to someone else beyond the docks. But exactly how, you don't know.
right.
How about this for a crazy idea? What if we can intercept it at the docks? Somehow bring it. Is the mutant safe zone? Does the mutant safe zone near the water at all? I don't remember.
No, what we established on the first session is that
What's up?
we have the mountain range with the big neon towers of the rich. Then we have the poor working class sprawling docks along some of the coasts. And Unity, it was to be for young professionals working for the corporation, so it was in between the 2 points.
Okay.
So it's it's this big lump in the middle of the city.
Okay. So if we were going to transport the steel, it would have to be over land. All right.
But what we could do, the issue is that the shipment itself is probably very conspicuous. Like, it's a full ship, so they'd be expecting it to arrive at a specific dock at a specific time. What we could try is if we could get onto that ship beforehand, or if we could alter the record somehow. I mean, that's fraught with its own kind of risks, but and it's
We get a truck. We bring it to the dock. They get ready to unload. We bluff. We lie. We cheat. We steal.
Yeah, we could even. Well, we don't want to cause a scene there. We want to get it onto the truck.
We could take their truck.
Yeah, that's
That
the
was the whole.
thing. If it's enough to help the Sky Bridge, that's not a single truckload of steel. It has to be a lot of steel.
Yeah.
So we've positioned the twins as being very useful for this sort of job. But would they be actually able to like transport half a container, half of that? No, not a container, but like half of a full cargo ship full of steel over to Unity.
They might make it easier. They can
Right.
manipulate the transportation. They might change the density of the steel. They can do this type of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But they are not very good at the cloak and dagger stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe we need some misdirection, right? Like like the thing is, we can't just take it because they're gonna miss it. We got to transport it, but then we also got to make it disappear. You know what I mean? So that they're not looking for it anymore. So I think we're gonna have to do something like maybe there's records of it that we can erase. Maybe there's when it gets unloaded from the ship and onto trucks, there might be dock workers there, but if they maybe don't I don't know, if they don't remember what it was they were unloading, for example, then maybe it just kind of disappears from all the records.
If you are manipulating records, you can just have it sent to the place where you want to steal it from. Just change the delivery records to be to that place.
So it sounds like there's 3 basic proponents to our plan: interception, transportation, misdirection. Does that sound right, folks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we can do it.
Do you get the help of anyone else to cover for any of those parts?
Do we want to just flash back? or do we want to play it ahead? What do you guys think?
Well, I
have a crazy big plan.
Oh, I love a crazy big plan.
So Vaughn is really good with computers and needs a boat. What if we could convince Vaughn and his gang that if they help us erase the records, the electronic records, that they could have this boat, because there won't even be an electronic record of the boat after the steel's removed from it. So they get their boat, a big boat. They could take like an army of mutants onto this tanker they want to take over or whatever. Then the steel, well, we need help transporting it. So maybe the prowlers can help us with that. And then we just need to put everything together, like actually get it moved from the boat and onto the ground transport. And I think we could take care of that. We just need to make sure that it happens quietly, silently, and that anyone who should be keeping an eye on the steel doesn't notice what happened, or they don't remember what happened.
And maybe we could arrange for a distraction as well. Maybe like a young mutant riot. Like half jokingly looking at the young kids, but also
okay. So if you want to get the prowlers involved, it's easy. They want something. If you want to get the Raptors involved, they also left practically what they want. But if you want to get the Bloods in, you need to convince them of something.
Have we talked to the Bloods yet?
Not directly.
I mean, I feel like at the very least, they'll be very forthcoming with what they want. You know, if we go and ask them, they'll hear from us. So, yeah, I mean, should we send our young hot ambassador, or should we send our like shrink to talk to them? Which, and I was talking about Jay, if that was unclear, because I mean, we're all
Yeah.
kind of hot, I guess, but you know, that's because that's how I play
I think
games.
it's fair to say that Jay is probably the youngest of you. Yeah, I don't know though. Like, Jay's a sort of by the book, goody two shoes sort of guy. These kids are all jaded punks who want to see the world. Think the world is burning and don't really care. I don't know. I guess so. Like, if we try and get them involved, yeah, I guess Jay can go talk to them. But I don't know what to offer them. Like, I don't know what or where we could send them, or I suppose it's just worth having a sit down with them. So, yeah, I guess Jay will get up and sort of make his way over to the group of kids. How old are these kids? Are they all like
18, 20, you know, they just graduated of the littles very recently.
let's see.
I didn't mean to shove you into that seat if you didn't want to, Tom, but does that sound fun to you?
It just doesn't. I mean, Jay would be as awkward as I feel right now. That's all. I just don't. I don't know if there's like a smooth way for that to enter conversation. So yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
I'll go over with you. You know,
all right, yeah.
because if I go by myself, I'm worried that they'll see some stuffy, you know, school counselor type. But if you're there, you know, you're a more obvious mutant, you know, which they probably relate to, and you're younger. So yeah, I'll go over with you.
Yeah. This way, it looks a bit more even in terms of the thing. They're not just going to like ignore Jay as a sort of weird outsider. They're going to be approached by another group. That makes more sense. Yeah, let's do that.
Thorn, do you think you would like join us too, or are you watching from the booth?
Yeah, I mean, Thorn could join in too. Thorn's young, covered in tattoos. Thorn's hip.
Heck yeah. I'll go ahead and break the ice then, you know. I think like as we walk up to them, they're probably like looking at us with some some sort of derision. Well, I can't help but agree with you on some level, folks. You know, as much as I'd like to argue with you, I think you have a point.
Yeah, it's time to build barricades and push them out of Unity. It's time to take back more than these residential quarters. It's time to take parts of the city for ourselves.
I mean, that sounds pretty good to me, right? Right, squad? Like,
Well, yeah, well, being more experienced, that's also an open challenge to the police. So,
right. I'm just kind of like putting on this, like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Well, so yeah, where would you go first? I mean, it's a big city. What would you
uh,
prioritize?
they start shouting different places, but one of them, it has a mohawk. Uh, she says, the old factories. There are a lot of factories and power plants that have been abandoned nearby. That ever since they built the zone, it's dilapidated. It's a lot of it. It's contaminated. People avoid it, and I think we can push that and slowly carve a way into the sea.
Well, not to sound like an asshole here, but what are you all waiting for? I just see you're all hanging out here in this bar, not even old enough to drink, drinking Coke and eating wings and yelling, but I haven't seen any action from you kids.
Uh,
Yeah, how do they respond to that, Lido? Oh, you froze. Oh, but you're back.
oops.
There you go.
So there is a bit of oh as you challenge this young woman, and she steps back and she looks you down. Yeah, I heard about you, Gray. Let's say I'm not that impressed. My name is Pucel. And what do you have? You can say, yeah, what I've been waiting for, but what have you been doing your entire life?
Is it possible that this woman was like born after the crisis, you're saying, or
No, the crisis was 10 years ago.
Okay, but she was probably still pretty young when it happened.
Yeah, she was like 10 when that happened.
Look, I didn't mean to come and get in a pissing contest with you. We both can agree that mutants deserve to be treated better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Complaining about it sometimes feels good. It's good to vent.
Yeah, but I don't expect anyone to give it to me. I've been waiting for the opportunity to take it. But it's kind of bad to go out and then you don't know if you're going to be stabbed in the back. There's way too many humans on this community. You never know who might turn on you in Unity.
You've been waiting for an opportunity. What would that look like for you?
Well, I don't know. Maybe making sure that when we come back for supplies, we don't have the cops waiting inside our homes. A base in Unity and people looking out for us so that we can do a bit of chaos knowing we have a safe haven.
I'm thinking of apartment block 18, and some of these empty apartments, right?
Yeah.
Well, these will be bad neighbors. Just saying.
That's the thing. But I think Jay will ask them, So are you saying you don't really have like a dedicated base of operations, or like even a place to stay?
No, we have one or other place to stay. We managed to scrounge. We are occupying one place or another, but we need something more. We need a citadel.
Citadel. Like simultaneously describe every building in Unity, and also like be as rare as hen's teeth. So I think Jay would like. I think we'd have to go back and have a discussion as a group and be like, I mean, we obviously know that Block 18 has a few areas that we could let people in, but we really want these like troublemaker kids like getting in the way of the operation of the clinic. I feel that would be like,
yeah, they could put the clinic in jeopardy, and they're rabble rousers, but they don't have a plan, right? I mean,
it's the whole deal.
Like, what are we gonna? Do they want all-out war against the humans? Like, if anything, they're gonna succeed most by being able to move in under the radar, right? Like, maybe there's a way they could get these factories, without, the humans being aware, for example. I don't know. What are they gonna do with them?
Oh, Ludic makes a great point with the old Ericsson tower. Was this the tower that, what's his face? That Cloak was using?
Oh, that was where Cloak was. Huh.
Interesting.
And was that in human territory? I forget if the Cloak's tower was the Ericsson tower was.
It's technically already out of the old Unity Heights neighborhood, but it's still part of the mutant safe zone.
Okay, so some of the mutant safe zone cuts just a little into
because it was already a ruined project at the time, so it was delimited as part of that.
All right. Well, if Bon already removed the mainframe or got what he wanted off of it, then that seems fine. But what do we? I'm not sure what we actually need from the Blood Pilgrims, though. Were they just going to create a distraction? I mean, do we really want mutants like causing trouble?
Yeah, like on a meta level,
in the open.
Yeah, we kind of do want them to do that, so they'll draw police attention away from where we're going to be conducting our operation. We also want to sort of fail because at the same time, we don't want them. We want them to fall back basically to this to safer territory for both them, and so they're not like confronted by. It's like that they don't all die. And they don't kill. Like,
so maybe if the Blood Pilgrims do like a little skirmish action, create a little trouble, but then hopefully they'll be smart enough to retreat before the cops come in full force.
So let's frame it to them as like a sort of a test for, or like a proposal for them to, for us to like advocate for them to go into this tower and like say, look, don't worry about these guys, they're okay. Like, we know it's a good spot, like a good location, but they're good kids. They can pull through if that when it's necessary. As example by this, and if they don't do what we actually want them to do, like if they go too far and they cause way more trouble than it's worth, we can cut them off. And yeah, so that we can sort of kill two birds with one stone. We can get the action done that they want, that we need them to do, and they get some support within the community, so they're not just rabble rousers anymore.
Yeah. And if they if this skirmish action of theirs can create the distraction to allow the Prowlers to get that boat after we get the steel off of it, then the Prowlers will probably be on board with it too.
Indeed,
So
yeah.
I think that would go a long way toward them securing their hold on the Ericsson Tower. I like this plan.
Yeah, this sounds good to me too. Yeah, this makes sense.
Okay, so let's out of character recap. Who are you involving on this job?
The blood pilgrims, the prowlers, and then the twins
The
as well
Raptors. Yeah.
from the Raptors. Yeah.
Okay, so you are involving every owl.
Everybody.
Okay. So,
We're
okay,
moving a lot of
so-
steel.
Yeah, it's going to be a big job. Also, a lot of things to go wrong with different people. So,
Sounds
we're gonna take a break of 10 minutes. Then we go back, start immediate res on the job, and then handle anything else as flashbacks. See you in 10.
Very cool.